I want to start out today's class with a very positive, powerful affirmation. And repeat after me. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Think about that area. You know what I'm talking about. One more time. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Doesn't that feel good? So the Course in Miracles says that's what you do. You admit to yourself. You feel your feelings. You don't pretend that you don't feel what you feel. That's one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to become more conscious. They think it means pretending. It means pretending that you're not upset when you're upset. Pretending that you're not mad when you're mad. Pretending you're not depressed with this misguided sense of, if I'm just positive, then that's going to take care of everything. No, 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 no. It's taking a good, honest look at what's going on inside yourself and in your mind at every level and bringing it up to the light, bringing it up to the truth. That's going to allow you to get rid of whatever it is that's blocking you. It's not being in denial and being in avoidance. It's not being conscious. That's being unconscious. That's why classes like the Course in Miracles, which deal very much with subconscious, the unconscious guilt, the unconscious fear, the things that are going on inside of you that you don't know that's blocking your happiness. That's what the Course in Miracles is about. And so it's not always comfortable. It's not always something that's fun to hear, because you have to take a look at some things and let those things go. So really, if you really want to make real progress in your spiritual development, please let go of this erroneous idea that you have to feel good all the time. Yeah. While you're getting to the point that you feel good all the time. Amen. On the way to feeling good all the time, you will not feel good all the time. On the way to feeling good all the time, you will not feel good all the time. On the way to learning how to feel good all the time. And if you set it up like that's the way you got to feel, you're going to make your ego or your fear much stronger, because then you're going to start beating yourself up every time you don't feel good, which is still the exact same crap that was going on before you got on the path, not feeling good. So for whatever reason you come to the conclusion to condemn yourself or to judge yourself or to make yourself feel bad, then you're still doing the same thing. It doesn't make any difference that you're doing it under the guise of being more spiritual. It doesn't make you a nice person because you clobber yourself all day. Yeah. It doesn't make you a good person because you beat yourself up constantly about things you think you could do better. The mere fact that you want to do things better means you're changing. The mere fact that you don't want to keep the things going that cause you or others pain in your perception means you are awakening and evolving. So whatever you think has happened in the past, that you're still beating yourself up about, even if it was 5 minutes ago, tell yourself it serves no useful purpose. Because it's when you recognize that it serves no useful purpose that your mind will automatically stop doing it. As long as you think your suffering serves a useful purpose, you will keep on suffering because you think it serves a useful purpose. So if you are choosing to suffer for any reason whatsoever, then at that point, and you decided to do it, then apply the truth to it and call it what it is, your call for help. Yeah. It's your call for help to the universe. It's your call for help to spirit. If you insist on suffering. It's not necessary. There's not one single lesson that we learn that we have to learn through suffering and pain. There is not one single lesson that we learn that is being required that we suffer in order to learn it. There is not one single lesson that we learn that requires poverty, sickness, attack, pain, loneliness, death. None of your lessons is it necessary for you to learn that lesson through suffering. But if you choose to, if you desire to, if you want to, nothing will stand in your way. I guarantee you, you can be miserable to the day you exit. Okay, to the rest of your natural physical life, you can choose. You are loved so much. you are so free that nothing interferes with the decisions that you made for yourself. That's how loved you are. That's how free you are. But I'm here to tell you and to tell me, it ain't necessary. And that's why there are tons of people that show up in a class like this. Tell people they're loved, tell them they're lovable, tell them they're innocent, tell them they deserve to be happy, tell them that it's their natural state and that they're powerful and they're not victims. It's very difficult for people to buy into that. Because there's so many things in the perception of the world that looks like that's not true. But remember, according to the Course in Miracles, you're only seeing the past. Yeah. You're only seeing, whenever you open your physical eyes, you're never looking at now physically. And I can give you a very easy way to relate to that. When you look at a star at night, you're looking at light that took millions of light years to get to you. So what you're actually looking at is the way the star looked millions of years ago. Just because we are 5 feet away doesn't make that any less true than if you were 5 million light years away. That means whenever I see anything, I'm seeing the past. I'm never seeing it at exactly the moment that it's happening. So everything you're looking at is already gone. It's already over. It's already done. And this moment is your point of power. This moment is the moment that you make a decision about what you're going to allow yourself to experience now and next. I don't care if you were clobbered as a kid. You're not being clobbered in this moment. There's nobody beating you over the head right now. I don't care if your parents talked about you or didn't talk about you. There's nobody criticizing and judging you right now. So every single thing that's making any one of us unhappy in this moment, including moi, it's not there. It's not there. It's not happening. So you are free. 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 Your past is over. It can touch you not. You're free. You're free. You're free. You are free. You are entitled to miracles. You are entitled to miracles. You are entitled to miracles. You will not trade miracles for grievances. Stop trading your miracles for grievances. You will not trade miracles for grievances. Don't trade your miracles for grievances. Your grievances block your miracles, your states of abundance, your states of love, your states of happiness are being blocked by your grievances. Your grievances block your love life. Your grievances block your abundant life. Your grievances are blocking your joy. You will not trade your miracles for grievances. You want only what belongs to you. So tell Spirit silently, I want only what belongs to me. 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 It may even sound strange to say this. I want only who belongs to me. I want only who belongs to me. The ego goes, eh. And you know that's what you want. You know that's what you'll pretend you're spiritual now. Eh. I don't want but who belongs. Yes, you do. You get doggone right you do. You want who belongs to you. And God belongs to you. Spirit belongs to you. Love belongs. There are people who belong to you. And I don't mean that in terms of enslavement and ownership. You want who is irresistible to you and who you are irresistible to. I ask for who I am irresistible to. I want who I am irresistible to. I want who I am irresistible to. And they are irresistible to me. Your path is going to become more irresistible the further you go on it. Your path becomes more irresistible to you the longer you're on it. If it's your spiritual path, if it's your happiness path, it becomes more irresistible to you the longer you are on it. So if you're doing stuff that's not irresistible, you're not doing what's in divine order for you. If you after what is not irresistible to you, you barking up the wrong tree. So I ask for irresistibleness. And you all look pretty irresistible.
So do you.
Thank you for your correct perception. Appreciate that. Today we're going to be in the teacher's manual on page 20 called Is Healing Certain? And you don't have to believe it, accept it, welcome it. Some of it's going to be hard to believe. Some of it's going to be quite startling. All right? So let's just get that clear. You might not believe it, and it's okay. Okay? I'm going to go through the paragraph. I feel like really going deep and hardcore and really hearing this today. Anybody willing to go deep and hardcore?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to think of a situation in your life right now that you think you need healing in. You can safely assume that's any area of your life that you don't like, that you're not happy about, that you're not seeing in peace. Please don't believe, don't tell yourself you're so spiritual you don't have an area right now. Please give me a break. Okay. Everything is great with me. I don't really relate to what you're saying right now. But I will in 5 minutes after 2. Here is what the Course says. It says that healing is always certain. So that means it's impossible for you to really let go of your false ideas or illusions and it's impossible to bring whatever you're going through to the truth and keep it. So I don't care what you're going through, if you really take it to the truth, it ends it. If it's not ended, you did not take it to the truth. Then it tells us, you're a teacher of God. He tells us that truth demonstrates that your illusions, your fears, and your upsets have no value. So when you recognize the truth, whatever you think you're going through that makes you sad, it has no value. So whatever is making you unhappy, making you lose your peace, by definition is not valuable. It is not valuable to have anything, anybody, any perception in your life that is not contributing to your peace and your happiness. Then it says, the teacher of God, which is the teacher of love, has seen the correction of his errors in the mind of the other person, recognizing the mind of the other person for what it is, having accepted the atonement, which is the truth, having accepted the truth for yourself, you have also accepted it for the other person. So if you're wondering about all the other people in your life right now, and their acceptance of the truth, stop thinking about their acceptance of the truth. Because as you accept the truth, you are accepting it for them.
Oh.
If I create my own reality and it's my own thoughts that's determining how I see you, and I accept that it's true, then whoever you see, you are also the one that's creating that perception, and you are the one that's giving it the meaning you have. So if it's true for me that I'm giving you all the meaning that you have for me, then it's also true that you're giving me all the meaning that I have for you, which means I have accepted the truth for you. So accepting the truth for you simply means you realize everyone's operating under the same universal laws that you are. It doesn't mean they got to talk the truth back to you and say what you believe back to you. Then you can say they've accepted the truth because they're now talking what you talk. The truth is true for them because whatever is true for you is true for them. So if you've accepted this for yourself, then if it's you making you upset and know somebody else isn't making you upset because you've accepted that you're the creator of your own feeling, then when they are upset, they're making themselves upset too. So stop making yourself feel like you're responsible for everybody else's happiness and their reaction to everything you do. You are not responsible for their reactions at all. Yes. Now, if you wanted somebody else to be responsible for the way you feel, you don't like what I just said. If it's somebody you're blaming right now for your unhappiness, you don't like what I just said. But if you're a person who really wants to be free, you friggin' love what I just said. And if you don't, that's called freedom. And that's okay. Because I know it's true for you whether you accept it or not. Who cares? You don't have to believe in gravity. I don't believe you're going to fall up. I don't care whether you believe the truth. Well, they don't believe it. Great. It's called freedom. I have no attachment to whether or not you accept what. Only time I have an attachment to how you react to what I teach you is when I've forgotten how to give you the gift. Because if I've truly given you the gift, then I'm not concerned about how you use it. That's part of the freedom of giving you the gift, is that you'll use it if you want to, how you want to, when you want to, and if you want to. So if I'm concerned about how you react to what I tell you, I'm imprisoning you and not loving you.
Oh.
Ooh.
I don't want people, I hate for people to give me stuff that they got a condition on how I should use it, when I should use it, where I should use it, and if I should use it. Then keep it. I don't want to be imprisoned by what you just gave me. You know, it's like somebody invited me out to dinner 4 or 5 times, and next thing you went, I always invite you out to dinner, but you don't ever invite. I didn't ask you to invite me out to dinner. I thought you were doing that because that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were counting it up and weighing it to see whether or not I was going to invite you out because you invited me out. That wasn't a gift, that was imprisonment.
That's right.
Don't imprison me with your gifts. That's what my love life used to be. That's why, where do you think that term, old ball and chain, came from?
Your ball and chain.
Yeah, I don't want to be anybody's ball and chain. I want to free you. When you free people, they think you don't love them. That's what's so funny. You free somebody, they think you don't love them. Because if you love them, you'll be trying to control them more, have more to say about what they do and how they do it. That's just too much work, right?
Yeah.
It's just anybody that's saying, no, trying to control somebody is just too much work. That's how my laziness works to my advantage. I'm too lazy to be controlling.
Oh, yeah.
When somebody's not with me and whatever they're doing, all I want to know, if I want to know anything, is, are you having a good time? Did you enjoy what you did? Did it make you feel peace? Hopefully it even created a situation where you love me more. I like people that I spend time with to spend time with other people, because then they get a chance to see how sane I am. Sometimes you don't appreciate people without comparison and contrast. If I'm dating somebody, I'm spending time with somebody, in a relationship with somebody, I want them to go out to dinner with other me. Do whatever you want to do. You see how cool I am. Hang out with a regular dude one night. You'll be glad to come home. Go. Because if they're just dealing with you all the time, you know they're going to take you for granted sooner or later, unless they're super masters. Because you'll be all they know. So they don't even have anything to compare you to, unless you know that you're not treating them the way you should. And when they meet somebody else, they're going to see they're being treated better than you treat them. Then you get scared. But you know you're not showing up full blast with your love. That's why you're scared you could lose it, because you know you're not doing the real deal. I'm confident. And I honestly believe that what's for me, no one can take away. If it's real, it can't be threatened. And if it's unreal, it doesn't even exist in the first place. So I'll spend 2 seconds on jealousy. And if I do, I'm just calling for love.
Yeah.
I got people I can call who remind me I'm worthwhile and valuable. That's what you know. That's holy relationships. When you forget, they'll remind you. So the court says, well, what if the person, I'm going to kind of paraphrase, what if the patient uses sickness as a way of life? That's the same as saying, what if a person uses unhappiness and misery and lack of peace as a way of life? What if the person believes that healing and happiness is the way to death? Some people believe that they're really happy, they don't die. That if things are going really great, it's going to be a calamity. If things are really going wonderful, something's about to go wrong. Anybody ever had that thought in here?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then it says, in that case, I love you, Sarah. Yeah, me, I have.
Like waiting for the other shoe to drop.
That's right.
That's that fear.
That's right. Well, that's right. Well, if your shoe drops, I just hope it's your favorite kind of shoe.
Me too.
So the court says, when this is so, when you believe that happiness and healing will actually hurt you, lead to death, he says, a sudden healing might precipitate intense depression. I'll say this again. If you're the kind of person that you use upset and unhappiness as a way of life, that's just the way you are, then the course is saying, if you were to have a sudden healing, it might precipitate intense depression. That means you'll have a sense of loss so deep, if things are going right for you, that you might even try to destroy yourself. That's deep. If I use unhappiness as a way of life, and then all of a sudden happiness happens, instead of jumping up and down, I'm going to be intensely depressed.
That's like those lottery winners.
And it's like people in the class. Y'all don't jump up and down when you hear how blessed you are and how innocent you are and how loved you are. We don't jump up and down. I've actually seen people get depressed the more I told them that they were loving. I've seen people get angry because I tell them they're powerful and they deserve to be loved. That you used to using being miserable as a way of life. He said, so when you expect your miserable friends and relatives to jump up and down with joy as soon as you try to make them happy, then you are not hearing what the truth is telling you. Miserable people who love to be miserable, who are people who don't do anything to change their misery, they don't like it when you bring them the truth.
That's right.
They don't want to hear the truth. They've already decided how they're going to deal with their problem. Suffer. And they're going to suffer so much, they're going to turn it to joy. You know what I'm telling the truth? It's like, I'll just be so sad. I'll sad my way into happiness. I'm going to be so sad every day that I'm going to get God's attention. I'll be the most miserable person in the room. It's just like the people that go to a party, instead of joining, they're over in the corner sulking. Right, they're waiting for somebody to come up and notice them and make them special, rather than to join and to extend to everyone around them. That's that same warped philosophy. No, you just don't get invited to the next party. Yeah. Because you're a downer.
Oh.
I can just see the person giving the party getting up and saying, I want to invite the most unfriendly person I know to come to my next party, the one who didn't join with anybody. That's who I want.
And 10 of his friends.
And 10 of his friends. And then he said, I didn't like that party. They go, well, I didn't like that party. That wasn't a fun party. That's what he always talked to me. Like, well, that party really wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It would have been if you hadn't been there. That's kind of cold, ain't it? That was Sagittarius. Having nothing to live for, that person may ask for death. Because they got happy more than they thought they did. Then the court says healing must wait. This is really fun, y'all. You're going to have some fun with this. It says healing must wait for this person's protection. So, since a person who stays miserable, doesn't like to choose to for happiness, would be very depressed because you got to realize, if you're miserable and you set it up that you can never have loving relationships or you can never have abundance and you believe that, then you are invested in that way of seeing. So for you, that's the way things are. So for you to be made abundant and happy would mean it would have to absolutely completely release everything that you believe about everything. So if you are more invested in being right than you are invested in being happy, then you're not going to want to do the things that would bring you joy. So you get depressed when you hear about the truth because it's requiring you to be so different in your thinking than the way you are. So then you get depressed. And so the court says healing must wait for your protection. Now what does that mean? Your happiness in every area of your life that you're dissatisfied is waiting.
Oh.
Little young girl's happiness, I'm waiting for his protection. I really would love to make him happy and let him experience the joy. But he's invested in being right more than he's invested in being happy. So therefore, if I was to make him really happy, he'd get intensely depressed because that would mean he was wrong about the way that he sees everything and he really wants to be right. So I'm going to wait for his protection. So your perfect relationships are waiting for your protection. Your spiritual awareness is waiting for your protection. Your love is waiting for your protection. Everything is waiting for your protection because it doesn't want you to kill yourself because the right person came or you killed him. That's right. So, before I go to the next paragraph, any questions about the first paragraph? Everybody clear what it's saying, even if they don't agree with it? Yes.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment, Earl. I just wanted to thank you so much for saying several things. One of the things that you said is that I am not responsible for the way someone else reacts. Even if I make a mistake with someone else, I'm not responsible for the way they react and for the way they perceive that. Thank you so much for saying that. Because yeah, I've been tormenting myself over this incident with that. And I just, hearing you say these things, it's like I forget so many times the basic things. Like, do I want to be happy or do I want to be right? I forget so many times the basic things, and just thank you for your reminders of the basic things,
Well, thank you for receiving it, because I can't give where there's no receiver. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with the Creator with us. The Creator wants to give to us. We don't think we deserve it, so we block the receiving. And you know how it is when you give somebody a gift and they can't receive it, or you give somebody a compliment and they go, oh no, that's not me. It's like it just take all the juice out of what you just got. So thank you for being such a wonderful receiver, Chris. Because that makes me want to give more.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Get your answer.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the concept of protection, receiving. I just want to get that.
Right, the concept of if I would give you something that you would hurt yourself with, out of my love for you, I'm not going to give it to you until you can receive it without hurting yourself with it. That's the concept. That the things that we haven't received, It's not that it's not there waiting for us. It's that until we love ourselves and see correctly, we would just hurt ourselves with the very thing that we're asking for.
Well, and then it says about, until you have protection.
Well, that's what it says. It's waiting for your protection, because you would hurt yourself with it. If you don't love yourself, then you would just get depressed.
Is the understanding of your happiness over your realm.
That too, but in this instance, your protection is that the healing waits until you're ready for it, when you can use it in such a way that it benefits you, instead of you. Like people always, I want a relationship, I want a relationship, I want a relationship. Did I say I want a relationship? That's what you hear. I'm like, relationship, relationship, relationship. Then you get in a relationship and then you get thrown overboard. If you want a relationship and you don't know a doggone thing about how to be loving, you don't know a doggone thing about taking responsibility, you think you need that person to validate you, then you're asking for something that you're going to hurt yourself through. And so you're going to make yourself more miserable than you ever were in the first place. And so the relationship, I don't want to show up in a person's life until they can treat me right and I can treat them right. I don't want to have someone that wouldn't be able to appreciate me. So I don't want to have a relationship with a dysfunctional person. And it's dysfunctional people that's always begging. Because they don't see what they do to cause the relationships that they're having to be the way they are. The universe wants to give you the best, most beautiful relationships you can ever have, but it also wants you to not hurt yourself through them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you have to be perfect in your ability to love in order to have a relationship. I'm saying you must be willing to use the relationship as a means to learn how to be truly loving. And having a relationship that satisfies you is not a relationship where the other person is acting out your fantasies to the point that you think you're happy. Because they weren't created to act out your fantasies. That's not why they're on earth. They're there to help you remember who you really are as this unlimited divine being that's brilliant and beautiful and light. That's why they're in your life. Not to make sure that you get something on Valentine's Day. And then the first thing you say is it gluten-free? And they can't have MSG. I always freak them out when I go to a restaurant. I say, yeah, give me some extra MSG and gluten in that. And they go, that's enough to make a waitress have a heart attack in Colorado. I don't just need to be MSG free, gluten free, but you need to be jogging around the table. You're in Colorado. You can sit and wait to get your food. You jog around the restaurant. Ain't me either. I'm tired as hell. Yes, my dear.
So this is a beautiful tool.
Yes, it is.
And I think, when you first were reading it, my mind went to all the people that I know that love being unhealthy. And then it went, of course, to me.
To me.
To me.
To me.
Because the reality is that in reading this, I can say that any place in my life that I'm not seeing what I've asked for, it's not because it hasn't been given. It's because in that place I don't feel safe enough to receive it yet.
That's why it waits for your protection. Because that's why it waits. I think the universe so that means, and this is going to blow your mind, but at this particular time in your life, at this particular moment, you are as happy as you can be. In this moment, you are as happy as you can be. This is as happy as you can be without hurting yourself. I know that's kind of depressing to some of y'all. That's what he's saying. Your happiness is waiting for your protection, which means that you only have as much happiness as you can receive without going into depression and hurting yourself. So it sounds like there needs to be a big increase in our capacity to receive.
To feel safe receiving.
And to feel safe receiving. So then it goes on to the next paragraph. It says, healing will stand aside whenever it would be seen as threat. The instant the healing is welcome, the healing is there. Where healing has been given, healing or happiness will be received. And what is time before the gifts of God? Do you really think that our Creator says stuff like, I can't get that to you the next Thursday? It's not like God is UPS, you know what I'm saying? So it says right here, what is time before the gifts of God? We've referred many times in the text to the storehouse of treasures laid up equally for the giver and receiver of God's gifts. No gift is lost. A gift that comes from love only increases. So if I'm in love with you and you're in love with me and it's real love, the only thing we're going to be saying about it is, I'm loving you more today than yesterday. I love it more today than yesterday. If it's love, it's increasing. If it's not love, it's decreasing. Then it goes on to say, no teacher of God, no teacher of love. This is really important. No demonstrator of love. I'm giving you the meanings that the course gives for these terms. A teacher is a demonstrator, God is love. So no demonstrator of love should feel what? Disappointed if he offered healing and it doesn't appear to be received. That's what I was saying earlier. I shouldn't feel disappointed if I've offered love to somebody, or truth to somebody, or healing to somebody, or kindness to somebody. You fill in the blank, and it doesn't appear that they received it. It's not up to me to judge when my gift should be accepted. If I'm loving you, and then there's another part of me that is getting upset because it looks like my love isn't being received, then I'm not really giving the love, because it's really not up to me to judge if it's a gift when it should be accepted. He says, let him, which is saying to say, let you be certain that the gift has been received and trust that it will be accepted when it's recognized as a blessing and not a curse.
Wow.
I'm giving you the love. You'll receive it when you see that it's not a curse to receive my love and my gift, and you see it's a blessing. Like, I might give this to you. Some of you may feel like it's a curse, that this is something that's not true, not real, something you shouldn't really be into. And I have to give it to you and trust that you will receive what I've said today, maybe one day when you see it as a blessing and not a curse. So my job is to give you the message, not to what? Judge and feel disappointed if it looks like I've taught the Course in Miracles to the best of my ability and it looks like maybe it wasn't received. I'm not supposed to feel disappointed about that, because it's not up to me to judge when my gifts should be accepted. I need to be certain that the gift that I'm giving you will be received when you recognize it as a blessing, and that's the way you're supposed to be looking at everything you give to everybody. Stop being disappointed if it looks like they're not receiving it the way you're giving it, and trust that when they see it correctly, which means it's not a curse to them, they will see it as a blessing and then they will accept it. See these very specific instructions. Then it goes on to say, recognize it's been a blessing and not a curse. Then he says, it's not the function of God's teachers. It's not your function to what? Evaluate the outcome of your gift. It's your function to give it. So I'm giving this class to you today. Then it's telling me, well, it's not my function to evaluate the outcome of giving it to you. It's merely my function to give it to you. It's not my function to evaluate the outcome of giving my love to somebody. It's merely my function to give the love. And that's my function. My function is to give you my love. My function is not to be disappointed if you don't receive my love the way that I'm giving you my love. Because at that point, I know I've never given you love. I've just been giving you my specialness. And I'm about to take it away because you're not really appreciating it enough. And it's not a real gift. It's a bargain. And you're not keeping the bargain. I gave it to you, and you're supposed to do certain things. You're not doing those things. I'm going to take my love back. I don't leave it to somebody else.
Expectations.
It's the mother of grievances. Expectation is the mother of grievances. Expectation is the mother of grievances. Expectation is the mother of grievances. You got grievances because of your expectations. It's your expectations that's making you have these grievances you got. So if you got grievances right now, you're angry, somebody's not acting out your script, and so now that sounds like somebody juicy in there. Oh, you have to see her. I know she's juicy. That's the juicy laugh. I can tell when the juicer laugh is coming my way. Can I hear the juicer laugh one more time? So according one thing I don't like about the Course in Miracles is because when I studied the Course in Miracles, I recognized that the only thing that's missing in any situation in my life is what I'm not giving. Because I've really been upset because I thought I was giving something I wasn't receiving. I read this book and I realized, wait a minute, I'm doing everything he said you shouldn't do in order to have what you want. He says that, first of all, I shouldn't be disappointed if I offer something to somebody and doesn't look like they've received it. It's not up to me to judge when it should be accepted. Then it tells me, let me be certain that you'll receive it as soon as you see it as a blessing. So I'm waiting for you to see a blessing in what I've given you. It doesn't mean I'm going to sit around and wait for you to see it that way. In the meantime, I'm going to be having as good a time as I can possibly have every moment while you are trying to make up your mind whether or not you're going to receive. I don't wait around for people to receive what I'm giving them. I let myself have joy in every moment until they make the decision that they're willing to join me in joy. Then I'm totally willing to join them, but I'm not going to wait around until you're ready. I'm going to be the joy and wait and then be ready to be in joy with you when you're ready to have joy too, because I'm going to accept the truth for both of us, which is if I can change my freaking mind and put my attention into changing my mind and working on myself and my personal growth and looking at my ego and wanting to be different, I want that you can do the same thing too. So therefore I don't have to feel guilty about moving on in my experience when you got the same options I have, but for whatever reason you like to be miserable more than you like to be happy, you're just plain lazy and you don't want to be different, then I just have to let you be that way, but I'm not going to wait around. Because you have a choice and you're not taking the choice, and I bless you and I see you as powerful and innocent. Yeah, but I'm going to join with where the love is in the meantime, because the only time I can experience love is now. I can't experience love in the future or in the past. I want to love the people who are loving me now. Those future lovers, I can't get no satisfaction from them. In the past love, I already got as much satisfaction as I can. That's why they pass. It's right now, baby. That's where it is, right here. Little black chocolate. So, then it goes on to say, now this is good. Are you hearing me? Is this good? Yeah. All right, is it good for you? Is it for me? Yeah. Okay. All right. So he says, no one can give if they're concerned. He says, I love this. He says, it's your function to give them, but once you have done that, then you've also given the outcome, for that's part of the gift. If you come to me for a flu shot, and I give you the flu shot, I've also given you the outcome of giving you the flu shot, which is hopefully you won't get the flu. So when you give the gift, you've also given the outcome at the same time. If I'm giving you my love, then I've also given you the outcome of receiving my love at the same time. Now, whether you're willing to receive it or not is up to you, but that's going to be dependent on two things, whether or not you want it and whether or not you think you deserve it. Right? And I choose not to give my love where it's not received. That's me personally. I would just much rather give it where it's being received, and that's where I see what I call a total yes. Right? Yeah. All right. Always remember, people always make time for what they want and who they want. So, just always, and that's the way we all are. But you might be giving more love in your mind than what somebody may be ready to receive at that particular moment. So it's not a condemnation of you or them. But you also got the gift as soon as you gave the love, because giving the love should have felt really good. And that was the reward at the moment that, see, my loving you should feel so fulfilling to let love come through me that I really don't care how you receive it, because I've already felt the love I feel for you going through me. So what I want to do is just let more love come through me for you, because it feels so good, because what comes through me has an effect on me. What comes through me has an effect on me. So if I let the love come through me, the joy come through me, it's having an effect on me. I've received at the same moment I've given. Giving and receiving are the same. They happen at the same time. It's not like I give you love and then I receive it 3 weeks later. The minute I gave it to you, I received it because I felt it. The biggest strain I go through is wanting to express more than I feel like I can. I go through the strain of trying to hold my love back sometimes. My enthusiasm back. I go through that a lot in this class, because it wouldn't make sense if I was up on the roof and then everybody else being down here cooled out. It's totally, that's called incongruent teaching. If I'm, hey, y'all, what's going on? What's going on? You're going, That's incongruent. So it's hard for you to receive incongruent. But if you're more laid back and I'm laid back, we meet. Are you incongruent? Yeah, I'm suffering from a little incongruency right here. I just get to answer with it. So then it says, and this is really deep. Let me get on here. At least for me, the hour passes by like in 5 minutes for me. I don't know what it's like for you. Some of you like 10 years. But for me, it's really short. It really is. It's short to me. Okay. When I'm just getting warmed up is when it's time to stop, actually. That's why I do one-day workshops, every few years. So it says, now listen to this. It says, no one can give if they're concerned with the result of giving. No one can give if they're concerned with the result of giving. No one can give if they're concerned with the result of giving. Being concerned with the result of giving, that is a limitation on the giving itself. And neither the giver nor the receiver would receive the gift if you're concerned with the result of giving the gift. What does that mean? It means trust is essential. It's an essential part of giving. What does that mean? It means that I got to trust that you're going to receive my gift when you see it as a blessing and not a curse. In fact, trust is the part that makes giving possible. Because I'm not going to give it to you if I feel like I've got to get it back just the way I gave it when I gave it. So it's going to make me hold back. So if I'm going to give, I've got to trust that you're going to receive it when you see it as a blessing. So therefore, I'm going to give it anyway. It's the trust that guarantees the giver will not lose, but only gain. In other words, when you're reading the course and sometimes you read a few sentences and you go, what the hell am I reading? Just go, in other words, and then read the next sentence. In other words, who gives a gift and then remains with the gift to be sure that the gift is used as the giver deems appropriate? He says, such is not giving, that's imprisoning. I gave you a toaster for your wedding present. You wake up the next morning, I'm sitting in your kitchen saying, you want to use my toaster? What? I gave you a toaster. I want you to see you use my toaster. I'm in your kitchen. How'd you get in my kitchen in the first? Don't worry about that. How can you not using my toaster? That's us. We give the gift and then we want to make sure that the person uses it the way that we've deemed appropriate. Or I'm going to snatch my toaster and leave back out the window the way I came. Okay. Then he says, you're imprisoning people. You're not giving to people. You're imprisoning people. You're not giving to people. You're imprisoning them. Then he goes on to say, it's the relinquishing of all concern about the gift that makes it truly given. What does that mean? It means the gift isn't truly given until I relinquish all concern about it. I haven't given you my love until I'm not concerned about it. I haven't given you the truth until I'm not concerned about it. I haven't given you the course until I'm not concerned about it. If I walk out of the room and I'm depressed the rest of the day because I feel like maybe I didn't give you the gift that I meant to give you, then I imprisoned you by. That's why you'll never see me walk up to you in a party or in any social gathering. If you haven't come to my class in a long time and hear me say, where have you been? Because you know what the class is, you know what time it is, you'd be there if you wanted to, so why should I be asking you that? It just make you tempt you to feel guilty or uncomfortable. So if I'm truly giving to you, it's okay if you never come again, and it's okay if you come again, and it's always good to come. Okay, so.
The truth is the truth.
What kind of meaning y'all get to what I just said? I saw a lot of giggling going on in there. That was to watch y'all. Y'all might mess around and have some fun.
No,
because we want you to be intensely depressed. So let's go back again. It says it's what? It's the relinquishing of all concern about the gift that makes it truly given. It is trust. Trust what? Well, who knows what I said the trust is? What are you trusting? You're trusting that the person will receive the gift when they see it as a blessing and not a curse. You're trusting that the person will receive your love when they see it as a blessing and not a curse. You're trusting that they're going to receive it as a blessing. When they receive it as a blessing, then they're not going to see it as a curse. Got it?
got it.
Okay, that's when they're going to accept it. Then it goes on to say, healing is the change of mind that the Holy Spirit in the person's mind is seeking for them. It is the Holy Spirit or the loving Spirit or the truth in the mind of the giver who gives the gift to them. How can it be lost? How can it be effectual? How can it be wasted? Because it's going to be the Holy Spirit, the real you in you. See, he says it's the real you in you that's seeking to change your mind for you. So your higher self is going to take care of the whole process in terms of when you're ready to receive the gift without fear. Your higher power is seeking for you to receive the gift, and so it's going to be received. So I give it knowing that the higher power in you, the real you in you, will allow you to receive it when you're ready to receive it without hurting yourself in the process. So part of my trust is trusting that God is in me and God is in you. The truth is in me, the truth is in you. It's not like the truth is in me, but it's not in you. So I like that. Then it says, and it's the Holy Spirit in the mind of the giver who gives it to them. How can it be lost? How can it be ineffectual? How can it be wasted? Because your Creator's treasure house can never be empty. And if one gift is missing, it wouldn't be full. If one gift of love for you was missing, then the treasure house wouldn't be full. Yet the fullness of it is guaranteed by God, is guaranteed by love. What does that mean? It just means what concern then can you have about what becomes of your gift? Given by God to God, given by love to love, who in this holy exchange can receive less than everything? It's the God in you giving it to the God in me. It's the love in me giving it to the love in you. It's the truth in me giving it to the truth in you. And the truth in you will accept it when you can accept it without hurting yourself with it. So you're going to receive all your gifts at the perfect time. So you don't have to be sweating right now. You don't have to be worried about whether or not you're going to receive your gifts of love and happiness and joy. It is guaranteed that you're going to receive your gifts of love and happiness and joy as soon as you're ready. And when you're ready, it's going to be ready for you. You can't lose it because it's guaranteed by your Creator, is guaranteed by God. You cannot lose. You cannot lose. It's just waiting for you to be ready. And the way for you to be ready is to be ready, willing to invest some time in removing the blocks to your being able to receive it, which is called spiritual study and spiritual practice. I love you. Thank you for hearing me. Whoa. All right, so let's do the financial expression of appreciation. I love you, and I appreciate you sharing with me so much in my full-time ministry with this stuff. Also, those of you watching online, will you please go to my website, sign up for my contact list so you can get links to the videos that I do of my classes. You can get them sent directly to your email once a week so that you can listen back to the classes over and over and over again, because that's how we get it. It's through repetition. So make sure you're on the contact list. Is there anyone that's not on the contact list that wants to be on the contact list so they can receive the classes?
I love getting your emails.
Thank you. Repetition is everything. Repetition is everything. Repetition is how you learn to think about yourself in such a way that's not peaceful for you, that happened through repetition. The way you're seeing things that happen through repetition. And so repeating the truth to yourself works faster because the whole universe supports you loving yourself. So it doesn't take as long to undo your ego. It doesn't take as long to undo your blocks as it does to build them. It doesn't take as long to undo your blocks, Earl, as it does to build them. But it does take attention, and it does take study. It does take attention, and it does take study. But the payoff is beyond your wildest imagination, because you'll end up having the kind of experience you always dreamed of. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. All right, so before I wind up right quick, are there any questions or any comments that I can answer quickly about what we've covered so far? Are you clear? Are you clear that as long as you're going to use sickness and unhappiness as a way of life, that your happiness is going to wait because you're the kind of person that if it did show up, you'd screw it up?
Yeah.
And that you would be depressed and you would hurt yourself through it. So your healing is waiting for your protection, but you can't lose it. It's always waiting, and it's always willing to show up when you are ready to let go of your fear of it. The next thing that we heard was that wherever you have given it, it's going to be received, and anything that's real is only going to increase. So if I have a real relationship, a real love, that love is going to increase. It doesn't die out over time. The relationship doesn't become more boring over time. Teaching doesn't become more boring over time. I've been teaching for 35 years. I hardly seem like I have no enthusiasm about being in front of you. It's okay. It's because I love what I do, and the longer I do it, the more I love it. It's because I love it. Things that you are doing that you feel fatigued are things that you are not doing from your spirit, and things that you're not doing from your heart. You may be doing doing it because you think you're supposed to, or you need it for security, but you're not doing it from your heart. You're not doing it from your spirit. So, also, the next thing that we were told was that as soon as we see it as a blessing and not a curse, whatever we give to somebody will be received when they see it as a blessing and not a curse. When you see it as a blessing to receive the love, then you will receive it. As long as you have any fear about it, you're not going to receive it. And hopefully one day you'll get to the point that you corrected your own perception enough to recognize when you're receiving love. Because if you're a person who doesn't recognize love, then you certainly can't recognize when somebody's giving it to you. Okay? Doesn't that make sense? If you hate yourself, don't love yourself, put yourself down, don't believe the best about you, how in the world would you recognize somebody that was seeing you that way? You wouldn't. You would find yourself strangely enough attracted to somebody who's giving you just the opposite. And those are those relationships which you're miserable in, but you can't get away from. You can't get away from them because they're giving you what you think you deserve. That's why you can't get away from them. Because they're giving you what you think you deserve. Nobody wants to get away from somebody who's giving them something they think they deserve. But if I'm giving you something that you don't think you deserve, you're going to get rid of me. If I'm giving you love more than you think you deserve it, a truth more than you think you deserve it, a kindness more than you think you deserve it, you're going to find a way to get rid of me. You're going to get me out of your experience. So just keep that in mind. Then it says it's not your function to evaluate the outcome of it. He says just give it. And you can't really give if you're concerned with the result of it because your concern limits the gift. So my concern limits what I'm trying to give. Then it goes on to tell us that if you give and you are absolutely trying to make sure that the person uses it the way you think they should use it, you are imprisoning them with your love or with your gift. You're not really freeing them and giving the gift. So it's the relinquishing of all concern about the gift that makes it truly given. And in the end, it's going to be the higher power in you giving it to the higher power in them, and their higher power in them giving it to them, so don't sweat it. All right? And that's the way that you make healing certain, boys and girls. So would you acknowledge yourself right now? Yes. Lord have mercy. Those that are watching online, as well as in the room, I'm available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions. Take you past your blocks. Go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and it explains it completely. So there are no original problems, and whatever you're going through, there's another way to look at it. And you can have it that way. So take a breath. I'm going to say one thing before you go out. Take a breath. Now remember this. Remember this. Readiness is not mastery. Readiness is not mastery. Readiness is not mastery. Just because you're ready to be more loving, just because you're ready to be more giving, because you're ready to give without concern for the outcome, doesn't mean you've mastered giving without concern for the outcome. So don't beat yourself up if you're going to go out of here today and you're trying to find somebody new to imprison. Be gentle with yourself with your little juicy imprisoning love. Because you know you got a bunch of scripts and expectations. Because you just might run into somebody else who's looking for somebody to imprison just like you. And when the two jailers meet, it feels real neat. And you can feel that good old hot, juicy heat. And you know that you just met your jailer. Your cute, juicy jailer. Especially if they got a lot of expectations about what you are supposed to do if they're giving you their attention. And the same thing is true when you give advice to someone and you think you're trying to help them and it looks like they didn't receive it. You know that you're now in your own incorrect perception, and you are to say to yourself, well, I gave them the answer that I felt led to share. I gave them the information that I felt led to share. So I'm going to trust that if they're supposed to use it, they're going to use it when they see it as a blessing and not a curse. Parents, This is very good advice. People in relationships, this is very good advice. You just don't want them to be depressed. Your happiness is bubbling over. It's just waiting until you can receive it without getting depressed or hurting yourself with it. Isn't that beautiful to know that you cannot lose it? You cannot, don't worry about it. You can't lose love, joy, what's really yours. So the last prayer is, you are entitled to miracles. You will not trade miracles, which are states of abundance and joy and happiness and peace and bliss and truth. You will not trade miracles for grievances. You want only what belongs to you. God has established miracles as your right. You are entitled to miracles. God bless you. Thank you for coming. Hugs are available. CJ wants to make a quick announcement.